Mr. Green, what is your reaction to this report from Judge Taylor?
I have not seen the order, and I have not had an opportunity to digest what I have heard or read with the news media. But if it is as is reported, then I am elated, I am delighted.
Do you think this 5 months will give the school board an opportunity to come up with the answers to some of your problems, particularly in Oak Cliff?
It will give us a wonderful opportunity to do so, yes, and I hope that it will bear fruit.
Do you think this will also maybe take the edge off some of the meetings going on right now?
Well, on that point, I don't know. I would have no comment.
Would you advise citizens groups to take it easy now and maybe let this 5 months in the interim, or maybe give them a new direction?
I would like for the community leaders, if they would, to wait and look and examine the court's new order before they take any steps whatsoever, because if the order is, as I understand it to be, I think it would be very constructive on their part to abide by it.
Congressman, if this is such an unpopular issue, why is it that we have to do this?
I think that's the most logical question could be asked. There is no reason. This is some bureaucratic desire on the part of some disinterested people working for HEW that are determined to have their way. And their way is only in their minds what I think they're very honest and sincere, but they're totally disoriented about the welfare of children. They think that by having a mandatory requirement of just mixing children up will in the long run be beneficial. So there's just a total disagreement in judgment as to why it would be. And the president has not made his lawyers, his HEW people, stop doing this.
Oh, now
If in fact this is the all-American city, then as a citizen of these United States of America, I call once again on the grassroots of our local government, the mayor of the city of Dallas and the city council, to join the county government of Dallas, Texas in petitioning the Congress of the United States of America for an immediate constitutional amendment making busing of school children out of the neighborhood illegal anywhere in this land, and further to petition the executive, legislature, and judicial branches of this government to cooperate with the lawmakers of this land and its people for America. If we cannot obtain this unity, then God help us all here in America. Let me re-echo these famous proclamations of the past. United we stand, divided we fall. Give me liberty or give me death.
I think that they will have seen something, they're going to photograph something that will absolutely amaze them. Now, they have already seen these discs of light up in the sky. Now, these are actually, they are souls, not as we know it, but they are higher beings. In other words, after we leave Earth, after we have left this life, we go to a higher form of life. So what they have seen in these light units, they're actually a higher form of life.
Will any danger come to the astronauts before they come back from these things that we don't understand?
Oh, no. They are being completely guided. The astronauts, even from the very first, have always been guided.
It was in 1957 that the first car paid its toll and traveled the 20-plus miles here on the Dallas-Fort Worth Turnpike. The 6-lane divided roadway has since been a boon to travelers, saving hundreds of thousands of driving hours for motorists between the two cities. There has, in the past couple of years, been talk feasibility studies, and more talk about the possibility of building another turnpike north of here to link the two cities with the regional airport. That would be the Trinity Turnpike. A report a week ago at the board meeting of the Texas Turnpike Authority indicated two things. First, wait on the Trinity Turnpike until the economy gets better. And second, keep tolls on this road, the current road, until 1977. In addition, another feasibility study was ordered to further explore the Trinity Turnpike and the possibility of some sort of mass rapid transit system. I talked with two Fort Worth City Councilmen, John J. O'Neill and Pat Reese, about their views on these two items. O'Neill says he is not necessarily against another toll road, but he is concerned about the amount of money being spent on feasibility studies. Both Reese and O'Neill say they would like to see a rapid transit system. This would ease the burden on the highway system, the parking situations in both downtown Dallas and Fort Worth. Texas Turnpike Authority Board Chairman D. Kelly told me in an interview a couple of months ago that the current road is nearing capacity, now accommodating an average of 80,000 cars a day. He also said the area being looked at for the Trinity Turnpike is the last major right-of-way left on which to build a road. He also said that tolls would have to be left on this road for a short period of time until the Trinity can hold its own. This is not an old road, nor is it outdated, nor is it dilapidated. The only problem is that the Dallas-Fort Worth area is continuing to grow, and one day, this road will reach its capacity. Jerry Park, Channel 8 News on the Move, the Dallas-Fort Worth Turnpike.
What it amounts to is a massive system of sewer interceptor lines and centralized waste treatment plants to serve the Dallas-Fort Worth area. The cost of the first phase of the program will amount to $250 million, and that's in 1970 money. The first phase will run through 1975. The total system will not be completed until the year 2020. Considering escalating costs of up to 13% per year, nobody's even tried to estimate the cost of the completed project. The whole operation is the result of a federal mandate to clean up the Upper Trinity. The plan presented today is largely the result of committee work led by Dallas Public Works Director Henry Grazier. I asked Mr. Grazier about that federal mandate.
Well, we must have a plan, and if they don't approve this plan, then we will have to submit one that they will approve, because this is a requirement of the federal grant program that to build our sewage treatment plants, that we do have a comprehensive plan that includes the entire area. Actually, this study here is a model which has been funded by the federal government to act as a guide to other areas of the country which will also have to have the same plan implemented.
The plan will not be met with universal applause. Some cities are objecting to the project's cost, and in fact, some towns will have to pay more to join the plan than they would spend on their own sewage treatment plants. Other cities object to the loss of local control. But the plan will be approved, according to water quality officials, if for no other reason than to save those federal funds. And really, that's all the federal government's interested in, preserving and improving the quality of the streams. If a city can produce nearly pure water from its own plant, it'll probably be allowed to stay outside the regional system. It used to be, you know, that the most costly construction project in the area was the regional airport. This area's sewage treatment program should make the airport costs look like petty cash. Jay Lewis, Channel 8 News on the Move at the University of Texas at Arlington.
Well, the one that just came out recently was done on over 1,000 patients by some Army dentists. And while some of the information I'm sure is useful to the American public ought to be aware that the study was not what we call a double-blind study. In other words, the patients volunteered certain information about the toothpaste that they used, and it's not what we call the best kind of a scientific study. A better study would have been to have what we call a double-blind study, in which the patients are given experimental toothpaste, and some are given a controlled toothpaste which has no important ingredient added to it. And the dentist who examines patients initially and later on to evaluate the results, be also not aware of which product, A or B, the patient is using. This would be a scientific way, a better scientific way to do this, and this was not done in this particular study.
We have our program of academic education, which we hope to continue to build and strengthen and expand. We have our program of technical and vocational education, which at the present time in development is behind our academic program. It needs more expansion, more facilities, more qualified instructors. And then we have the program of adult education, which needs some expansion also.
This is normally what it looks like the day after the Arlington Playground Circus. Only the only problem here now is that the Playground Circus hasn't happened yet. All of this is a result of what happened last night. It was scheduled for 6:30, but then all of a sudden torrential downpours came across the city of Arlington, and now things look just like they would have if it had been the day after. Cheryl Nason is with the Arlington Park and Recreation Department, sponsor of this event. Cheryl, what are you going to do now?
We're planning on having the circus Tuesday, August the 10th, with the same scheduling.
How long is it going to take you to put all this back together?
Oh, I don't know. Probably, I'd say 2 days. We can do it.
Okay. Everything is going to be scheduled then on Tuesday, and what time will it all start?
The parade will begin at 6:15 p.m., and it will originate from Wimbish Elementary School, which is right down here on Randall Mill Road. And the Big Top Show will begin at 7:30 p.m. here at Randall Mill Park. And then immediately after the Big Top Show, we'll open the Midway where all the booths are, where we are now.
Okay, thank you. I think you can take a lesson from the postal officials where it says neither rain, nor snow, nor sleet, but most especially rain are not going to stave the people from the Arlington Park and Recreation Department from having their carnival. It's going to happen Tuesday night. You come back out here Wednesday morning, it'll look just about like this. Jerry Park, Channel 8 News on the Move in Arlington.
By the way, can you trim this? As soon as that gets back, this will be Carl Mayo, Channel 8 News on the Move.
Well, first of all, I couldn't say that I was surprised, but it surprised me in one way, and then again it didn't. I'm not pleased with the decision that he had to stay on secondary education here in the integration suit. But I think that if he's going to do one part of it, he should stay at all. You know, I don't approve of the TV circus in the first place, and by him holding off on that, it made it really look bad. It was already bad in the first place.
What's your next move?
Well, first of all, the move has already been made when we filed in the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals for the hearing from the Fifth Circuit Court. And right now, it's not too much we can do until we hear from the courts.
dawn's early light. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
You're baritone. Are you kidding? No,
I'm high tonight, but I'm a baritone.
Are you?
I'd rather...
This amendment that will take some legal research and some rather careful drafting will say in effect that we owe to all children the best opportunity for schooling that we can possibly provide. It will say that it is the responsibility of the local school areas to provide this schooling, and if there's deficiencies found, then it would be up to someone to take the school board or the school people to court and say that you shall provide the things that you're not now providing. But this would provide a community school, a neighborhood school, that would have to be the best that the area, the whole state, or whatever the jurisdiction was could possibly provide. But it would also say that children cannot be without volunteering. Of course, they can go anywhere they want to, but they cannot be taken out of their neighborhood schools without their consent.
No, I don't. I think the American Dental Association has also expressed the same opinion. They have, in fact, endorsed most of these dentifrices that were mentioned in the report, and most of them are doing the job that dentifrices are supposed to do, and that is to keep the teeth clean and gums healthy, and it'd be a shame if people became so alarmed by this report that they wouldn't go out and buy toothpaste anymore.
While cities across the state are attempting to levy new taxes to meet skyrocketing budgets, a completely new state tax goes into effect in less than a month. It's a new tax that slipped through the legislature unnoticed by most. It could be called a lawbreakers tax because it only taxes those persons convicted of crimes in municipal, justices of the peace, county, and district courts. As an example, if you're stopped by a policeman for speeding, by radar or otherwise, and later plead guilty or found guilty, you'll have to pay an additional $2.50 tax to the state. That's above and beyond the fine set in the case. If found guilty in the Justice of the Peace Court, the tax is the same, but it goes up to $5 and $10 in county and district courts. The new tax, called a court cost levy, places the burden of collecting and reporting the taxes quarterly on the shoulders of municipal and county governments. The local bodies only receive 5% of the collected taxes for expenses. The new law does exempt the parking violations and pedestrians. With the overcrowded condition of every courtroom, the tax should produce a sizable sum of money. The funds will be used to support the Omnibus Safe Streets Act of 1967. So after August 31st, traffic tickets and other crimes, just like everything else, will be costing more. Jim Green, Channel 8 News on the Move, Fort Worth.
What kind of reaction do you get, Reverend, when you sit down beside a man at a bar in New Orleans and start talking to him?
Well, first of all, he gets over the initial shock of a preacher being there, and then maybe I just finished humming, "Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so." Then he sees me, he says, "You're real, aren't you?" It doesn't take long for sincerity to communicate between one and the other, and he appreciates it. He appreciates it. People appreciate anybody who stands for something real and something good and something godly.
I know quite often people say, "Well, now don't bother me with that right now, preacher." Do you get that reaction ever?
Not really. It's according to how you present it. If you present it in a negative attitude, like say quit smoking, quit drinking, quit cussing, quit running around, they don't want to quit. They want to start something better. And if you can project it in a way where they can see their condition to be upgraded, they're for you in what you got to offer.
In other words, you get them started and they'll quit on their own.
That's right. See, you don't have to quit drinking when you get right with the Lord. Just change spigots. You drink this living water where you never thirst again. And that beats that other. I've been on a holy high now for 13 years. I got so high the other night I passed a flying nun on the way home.